The cold steel of the scalpel bit into my throat before I even realized the lights in the operating room had flickered out. 1 second, I was under, trusting the surgeon's steady hands to fix the aneurysm they'd sworn was routine. The next, a gurgle escaped my lips as my blood, filled my mouth. And Emily's face loomed over me, her surgical mask pulled down just enough to reveal that triumphant sneer I'd seen in nightmares. "Merry Christmas, Madison," she whispered, her voice a venomous carol, before everything went black. But death wasn't the end. It was a goddamn reset button, slamming me back into my body 3 weeks earlier. Heart pounding in the sterile chill of the pre-op room, the fluorescent buzz overhead drilling into my skull like a warning siren I couldn't ignore. I gasped, bolting upright on the gurney, the 4-line tugging at my arm like an anchor from hell. Nurses rushed in, their voices a blur of concern. "Miss Harper, are you all right?" We haven't even started the sedation. But all I could do was stare at my hands, pale and unscarred, the ones that had clawed futilely at my neck in my final moments. It was December 1st, 2025. New York City. The air thick with the sterile tang of antiseptic and the faint, mocking jingle of holiday music from the hallway speakers. I'd died on Christmas Eve, betrayed by the sister I'd spent my life propping up, her greed carving me open like a holiday roast. And now I was back, armed with every filthy secret she'd buried, every lie she'd whispered to our family, every drop of my blood on her scrubs. Emily Harper, Dr. Emily Harper, to the world, was the golden child, the one who'd clawed her way through med school on Dad's dime while I, Madison, the artsy screw-up, scraped by as a freelance graphic designer in Brooklyn. Our family was old money, the kind that whispered through Manhattan's elite circles. Harper Investments, a sprawling empire Dad had built from nothing after Mom's overdose when we were kids. He'd doted on Emily, funneling her through Ivy League gates, while I got the scraps, the occasional guilt-laced check, the backhanded, "You could have been more like your sister at Thanksgiving." But I knew the truth. The one she'd confessed in a drunken haze one night after a gala. She'd fudged her residency applications, bribed a professor to overlook the patient she'd nearly killed in her first year. I'd covered for her, because that's what sisters do, right? Or so I'd thought. That aneurysm? It was bullshit. Emily had planted the diagnosis, greased the palms of the imaging techs with cash from Dad's slush fund. She'd convinced me it was urgent, that Christmas surgery would get it over with, so we could all celebrate. But it wasn't about saving me, it was about the envelope. The one Dad had slipped me that morning, heavy with promise, $15,000 to start my own design studio. A quiet apology for years of neglect. Except it wasn't just that. Tucked inside was a codicil to his will, naming me as the silent beneficiary of $41 million in offshore trusts, money he'd hidden from Emily's prying eyes, earmarked for the daughter he'd always undervalued but secretly admired for her grit. She'd found out, of course, snuck into his study, rifled through the safe like the entitled viper she was. In my first life, she'd swapped the envelopes during the holiday chaos, pocketing mine while palming the real prize. Then, to cover her tracks, she'd rigged a malfunction in the anesthesia machine, her gloved hands delivering the fatal slice disguised as a slip. The family mourned me as a tragic accident, and Emily? She inherited everything, weeping crocodile tears at my funeral, her new life funded by my blood money. Not this time. This time, I ripped the 4 out, ignoring the sting, and swung my legs off the gurney. Cancel it, I croaked to the nurse, my voice raw from the phantom pain of that imagined blade. The surgery. Cancel the whole damn thing. She blinked, fumbling for her chart, but I was already on my feet, yanking the gown off like it was a shroud. My phone buzzed on the side table, a text from Emily. Can't wait for your big fix tomorrow. Cease. Family dinner after, my treat. Love you. Love you. The words twisted in my gut like barbed wire. I deleted it, then blocked her number. Step 1, survival. Step 2, make her pay. I stumbled out of the hospital into the biting December wind, hailed a cab to my cramped Bushwick apartment, the city a glittering blur of holiday lights that now looked like funeral pyres. Snow flurries danced on the windshield as the driver droned about traffic to Midtown. My mind raced ahead, piecing together the timeline. Dad's Christmas Eve party was in 2 days, the penthouse on Fifth Avenue. All crystal chandeliers and forced cheer, where Emily would make her move. But I'd be ready. First, I needed proof. Solid, irrefutable proof of her rot, the kind that would unravel her perfect life thread by thread. That night, I didn't sleep. Instead, I pored over my laptop, hacking into the hospital's patient portal with a forgotten backdoor password from my graphic design gigs. Yeah, I'd moonlighted for their IT department once. A favor for a friend. Emily's records popped up like poison apples, scrubbed emails about the bribe, a deleted log of her accessing my scans prematurely. But it was the offshore account transfer that hit hardest, a $50,000 wire to the imaging tech. Time-stamped the week before my diagnosis. My hands shook as I screenshotted it all, emailing copies to a burner account. Blackmail? No. This was justice. Or at least, the start of it. By morning, I was a ghost in my own life, calling Dad from a payphone near the bodega, old school, untraceable. It's Madison. Don't say anything. Just listen, Emily's playing you. The aneurysm's fake. Meet me at the diner on 72nd and Lex. Noon. Come alone. His voice cracked, that gruff baritone I'd idolized fracturing like thin ice. Maddie? What the hell? But I hung up, heart hammering. Trusting him was a risk. He'd always chosen her shine over my shadow. But if anyone could bury her, it was him, the man who'd built an empire on ruthless deals. The diner smelled of burnt coffee and grease, a relic squeezed between luxury condos, where Dad waited in the corner booth, his Armani coat draped over the seat like a discarded skin. He looked older than I remembered, lines etched deeper around his eyes, the weight of secrets pressing down. Talk, he said simply, sliding a menu my way out of habit. No hugs. No tears, just hyper-efficiency. I laid it out cold, the faked diagnosis, the envelope swap, the murder plot disguised as malpractice. His face didn't flinch, but his knuckles whitened around his coffee mug. You have proof? I slid my phone across, the screenshots glowing like indictments. He scrolled, jaw set, then met my eyes, really met them, for the first time in years. Why now? Why not before? Because she killed me. Dad. In another life. She did. And I came back to stop it. The words hung absurd. But he didn't laugh. Instead, he nodded, slow and deliberate, like he'd half expected this family's darkness to loop back on itself. You're not crazy, kid. I've known about her. Indiscretions. The residency scam. The patient cover-up. But blood's thicker. He paused, eyes distant. Or so I thought. Then, the bomb. The $41 million? It's not just yours. It's leverage against the board. They've been cooking books, siphoning funds. Emily found out, threatened to expose them unless they fast-tracked her to chief of surgery. That's why the envelopes. I was testing her loyalty. My stomach dropped. So it wasn't just greed, it was a web. Emily puppeteering the family fortune like a deranged holiday puppet master. And me? Collateral? He winced. You were the safe bet. Always have been. For the first time, pride flickered in his gaze. But it burned bitter. What do you want to do? Nothing yet, I said, leaning in. Let her think it's going down as planned. But we flip it. You handle the board, I'll handle her. As we parted, him vanishing into a black SUV, me melting into the pedestrian crush, I felt the first real spark of power. Emily thought she was the surgeon, precise and untouchable. But I was the ghost now, stitching her wounds shut one lie at a time. Christmas Eve dawned crisp and cruel, the city blanketed in fresh snow that muffled the chaos below. I arrived at the penthouse early, slipping in through the service entrance like the help. A caterer's apron over my jeans to blend with the flurry of staff prepping the ballroom. Crystal garlands dripped from the ceilings. A towering Fraser fir dominated the foyer, its ornaments catching the light like shattered promises. Dad had texted. Envelope secured. Board meeting tomorrow. Play your part. My role? The grateful invalid. Fresh from surgery, toasting Emily's brilliance while she salivated over her prize. She was there already, holding court in the kitchen. Her white coat swapped for a crimson sheath dress that screamed festivity and ambition. Maddie, you're early. How's the head? Ready for that champagne? Her hug was all teeth, perfume cloying as chloroform. Never better, I murmured, pulling back to study her, the micro-twitch at her temple, the way her eyes darted to the gift table where the envelopes waited, disguised as bonuses amid the wrapped boxes. The real one, mine, fat with a codicil, sat innocuous in red foil, labeled to Madison, with pride. Hers, the decoy $15,000. In green, Emily's future. Guests trickled in, aunts with Botox smiles, uncles nursing scotch. The board members Dad had invited as family friends, their whispers laced with unease. I played the part, laughed at jokes, clinked glasses, even let Emily fuss over me with a plate of hors d'oeuvres. But inside, I was a live wire, counting down to her grab. It happened at 8:47 p.m., right after the toasts. Dad raised his glass, voice booming. To family, the ones who bleed for us. Emily's laugh tinkled like breaking glass. Mine was silent steel. As the crowd milled, she sidled to the table, her back to me, fingers deft as a pickpocket snatching the green envelope, hers, the decoy. But wait, no. In her haste, mirroring my memory exactly, she palmed the red one instead. The swap was seamless, her prize tucked into her clutch before anyone blinked. Heart slamming, I excused myself to the powder room, locking the door and firing off a text to Dad. She took mine. Proceed. Then, the real fun. I hacked her phone via the shared family Wi-Fi, Child's Play with her lazy password, Emilymp88, and mirrored it to mine. Her screen lit up with a frantic email to her lover. A sleazy board VP named Trent. Got it. $41 million ours. Meet after, seal the deal?
Oh, sister.
You just opened Pandora's gift. I slipped back into the party, like smoke. The din of laughter and Bing Crosby crooning, White Christmas, a surreal soundtrack to my unraveling revenge. Emily was radiant, cheeks flushed as she circulated, that clutch hugged to her side like a newborn. She caught my eye across the room, raising her glass in mock sisterly solidarity, oblivious to the noose tightening. I smiled back, sweet as strychnine, and made my way to the bar, where Dad nursed a neat whiskey, his gaze steel over the rim. "Red envelope," I whispered, leaning in close enough for only him to hear. "She's got the codicil." He didn't blink, just nodded once, sharp as a scalpel. "Board's here. I'll drop the hammer post-midnight." "You?" Her world crumbles by dawn. We clinked glasses, bourbon for me, a first in years, and parted, the pact sealed in amber liquid. The night stretched, a taut wire of small talk and forced jollity. I danced with an uncle who smelled of cigars, dodged Aunt Lydia's prying about my recovery, all while watching Emily's facade crack. She excused herself twice to the study, emerging each time paler, fingers flying over her phone. Good. The mirrored feed showed her scanning the document, her text to Trent escalating. "What the fuck? It's Harper Investments' full access, offshores. Everything. We own them now." Trent's reply, "Jackpot. Babe." "But Harper Senior's onto us? Abort?" "No." "Leverage. We flip him tomorrow." Leverage. The word curdled in my throat. She'd always been the chess player, moving pieces, me included, like pawns. But tonight, she was the queen, teetering on checkmate. As the clock struck 11, the real guests of honor arrived, not the socialites, but shadows from Dad's past. The private investigator I'd hired on the sly, $5K from my savings, wired anonymously, slid into my path near the dessert table, his rumpled suit a deliberate camouflage. "Miss Harper, got what you asked for." He pressed a slim USB into my palm, disguised as a candy wrapper. Her residency file, unredacted. The patient she killed? Not an accident. Overdose on fentanyl, she diverted for a quick flip. Buried it with Daddy's lawyers. My pulse thundered. Emily. A murder before me? The irony was biblical. And the bribe. Audio. Professor singing like a canary after a little pressure. He vanished into the crowd, leaving me clutching the drive like a grenade pin. Midnight Mass on TV flickered in the background. The family gathered for the reveal, Dad's tradition of handing out envelopes amid carols. Emily hovered, vibrating with greed, her eyes locked on him like a hawk. "Family first," he boomed, passing slim packets to aunts and uncles, modest bonuses, $10,000 each, enough to keep them loyal. Then, to her, the green decoy, still unopened on the table. She froze, confusion flickering before she masked it with a laugh. "Miss." Elsewhere. Dad's smile was a blade. "Patience." "Eminencia." Madison first. He turned to me, the room's eyes shifting, pitying the sickly sister. No doubt. The red envelope, empty now, its twin in her clutch, felt heavy in his hand as he pressed it to my chest. "For you, kid. Always knew you'd build something real." Tears pricked, genuine for once. As I tore it open, a check for $15,000, crisp and real, with a note in a scrawl, "Studio's yours." Proud. The crowd awed, but Emily's face soured, her clutch hand twitching. She excused herself abruptly, fleeing to the balcony, snow swirling around her like confetti from a bad dream. I followed at a distance, slipping through the French doors into the frigid night. The city sprawled below, a jeweled beast indifferent to our drama. She stood at the railing, back to me, phone to her ear. Trent, it's not right, the doc says $41 mil. But Harper's playing games. We confront him now. His voice tinny through the mirror. Babe.
Chill.
Read it again. That's full control, we can tank the stock. Blame him. She laughed. Low and vicious. Or better, expose the cookbooks.
He's done.
We walk with everything. I stepped forward, boots crunching snow. Expose what? Exactly.
Ink.
She whirled, phone dropping to the stone with a clatter. Maddie? What the get back inside. You're still recovering. Her eyes darted to the clutch. Calculating. I held up my own phone, the mirrored screen glowing, her conversation, captured in crystal clarity. Full control.
Huh?
Funny. Because that codicil? It's a trap. Dad wired it to alert him the second it's accessed digitally. Which you did, twice in the last hour. Her face drained of color, the crimson dress stark against the white drifts. You hacked me? You crazy bitch. Careful. I cut in, voice steady as the wind howled. I've got more. The fentanyl kid? The prof's payoff? All on here. I patted the USB in my pocket. And the or slip? I remember it.
Eminência.
The scalpel. Your whisper. She lunged, nails raking for my face. But I sidestepped. Years of self-defense classes from my screw-up phase paying off. She stumbled against the rail, breath coming in gasps. You're lying. You were under. It was an accident. Like Mom's overdose? The words slipped out. A gut punch even to me. Dad had always said it was bad pills. A one-off. But Emily's flinch. Oh, that was gold. You knew. You were the one who found her stash. Pushed her that night after the fight. Her laugh was hysterical. Brittle as ice. She was weak.
Like you.
Dad was gonna cut her out. I saved us. Saved us. The betrayal sank deeper than the blade ever had. Not just greed, it was erasure. Her rewriting our bloodline to crown herself.
Us.
I echoed. There is no us anymore. Footsteps crunched, Dad, materializing from the shadows. 2 board members flanking him like sentinels. Enough, he growled. Emily spun, pleading, Daddy. She's delusional, post-op psychosis. But he held up his phone, the codicil's alert pulsing red. It's over. Emily. The board knows.
Ceci est en route.
Your leverage? It's a confession. She crumpled, clutch spilling open, the codicil fluttering to the snow like a fallen flag. I picked it up, the paper cold and damning. $41 million in black and white. Twist of a knife, it named me sole heir. Her name redacted in fresh ink. Dad's doing? Post our diner meet. You set me up, she hissed at him. Then me. Both of you. Family, I said, echoing his toast. The ones who bleed for us. Security arrived then, discreet in tuxes, escorting her inside, not to jail yet, but to a quiet room for questions. The party resumed, tinny and false. But I slipped away, envelope in hand, hailing a cab to Brooklyn. Dawn broke gray over the bridges, the city waking to my new reality, free, scarred. but alive. But revenge isn't a clean cut. It festers. As the cab idled in traffic, my burner buzzed an anonymous text. "You think it's over?"
Check the will. T. Trent.
The web had more spiders. The text burned a hole in my pocket all the way back to Bushwick, the cab's heater blasting futile warmth against the chill seeping into my bones. Trent, that smarmy VP with the comb-over and the wandering hands, knew more than he'd let on. Emily's puppet master? Or just another fool in her string? I crashed through my apartment door, the space a war zone of half-packed boxes and blinking Christmas lights I'd strung ironically last week. Now they mocked me, twinkling like Emily's lies. I plugged in the USB, firing up my laptop with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. The files unfolded like a digital autopsy, audio clips of Emily's prof stammering about the $20,000 donation, grainy CCTV from the hospital showing her slipping the fentanyl vial into a patient's drip, a teen addict. Just like Mom. His overdose ruled complications to protect her star. Then, the kicker, a scanned letter from Trent to Emily, dated 6 months back.
Babe.
The board's laundering's airtight, but Harper's sniffing. Use the sister, frame her for embezzlement. She flakes out anyway, no one'll miss her. Frame me? For their crimes? The room spun.
Bileri sink.
I'd been collateral since summer. My failures a convenient smokescreen. But the will, what the hell did that mean? I cross-referenced Dad's estate docs from the burner email, heart sinking as a footnote leaped out, a contingency clause, buried deep, naming Emily as alternate beneficiary if I predeceased him without issue. Predeceased. Like,
Conveniently via aneurism. No.
Not without a fight. I dialed Dad's private line, the one for emergencies only. He picked up on the first ring. Voice gravel from a night of damage control.
Maddie?
You safe. Trent's loose. He texted, knows about the will. What's the play? Silence. Then a sigh like shifting tectonic plates. The clause? Old precaution, after your mom's mess. I hedged. But it's void now, I amended it yesterday. Your soul. Clean. And Emily? Disbarred by morning. Board's cutting ties. SEC's got her emails. But Trent. He's slippery.
Ixia.
Before finance. If he's reaching out, it's to bargain.
Bargain. The word tasted like ash.
Or threaten. Stay low. I'll handle.
Click.
Classic Dad, delegate the dirt. Keep his hands pristine. But I wasn't his pawn anymore. I forwarded the text to the PI, adding, tail him.
Now.
Then, crashing on the couch, I plotted. Revenge phase 2, not just expose, but dismantle. Emily's fall was the appetizer, Trent's empire, the main course. Morning brought gray slush and a pounding headache, the city groaning under post-holiday hangover. My phone lit up with news alerts. Harper Investments scandal, CEO's daughter implicated in malpractice ring. Emily's face splashed across headlines. Her tear-streaked mugshot from last night's detainment already viral. Twitter, X, whatever, erupted, Dr. Death trending. Feminists decrying the golden girl myth. Conservatives railing against elite corruption. I scrolled, a grim smile cracking my lips. Public shaming, the great American equalizer. But Trent, radio silence until noon. When the PI called. Got eyes on him.
Miss.
He's holed up in a Tribeca loft, not his usual. Burner phone pinging locals only. And get this, he's meeting a fixer. Some ghost from Langley days. Record it, I snapped. Everything. By evening, the files arrived. Video of Trent in a shadowed booth at a dive bar, sliding a flash drive to a hulking suit with a scarred jaw. Audio caught fragments. Harper girl's done. But the sister's the key. Will's got holes. We forged the amendment. Pin the laundering on her.
Forge.
My blood iced. They weren't done. They were pivoting, turning me into the villain to salvage their scam. The fixer nodded. Pricey, but doable.
2,000 pesos upfront.
Trent's chuckle slithered through the speakers. Chump change. Do it by New Year's. And it's yours. I slammed the laptop shut, pacing the threadbare rug. Controversial decisions loomed, the kind that'd haunt late nights. The ones where justice blurs into vigilantism. Call the cops? They'd bury it in bureaucracy. Let Trent's lawyers feast.
Confront him? Suicide?
With his connections.
No.
I needed dirtier hands. Enter Jax, my ex. The tattooed hacker I'd ghosted after one too many bar fights, but who'd always had my back in the shadows. We met at a nondescript coffee shop in Williamsburg, the kind with exposed brick and overpriced lattes masking its underbelly as a freelance spy hub. He slid into the booth, leather jacket creaking, that crooked grin unchanged. Maddie Harper. Back from the dead? Heard about sis, damn. Girl. Cut the charm. I need a ghost in the machine. I slid the video across. His eyes widened, then narrowed as he plugged in his tablet. Trent's a ghost himself, off-grid servers. VPNs stacked like Jenga. But this? He tapped the screen. Amateur hour. Gimme 48 hours. I'll crack his fortress. Plant a worm. Make it look like he emailed the feds himself. Plant. The word hung. Tempting and toxic. Frame him? That's federal time. Jack shrugged, eyes dark. You want justice or a participation trophy? Your call. But Emily's rotting in a cell right now cause someone pushed buttons. He was right. The decision clawed at me. Good girl Madison. The one who covered lies. Now architect of one? But survival's a brutal teacher.
Do it.
But trace the money first. I want every dirty dollar. We parted with a fist bump, old sparks flickering despite the scar tissue. Back home, I poured a drink, Jack on ice. Dad's vice, and scrolled Emily's holding statement. Leaked to TMZ, DR. Harper denies all allegations. Family dispute exaggerated. Bullshit. But it stung. Her venom seeping even from custody. Christmas Day dawned, mocking. Streets empty save for delivery drones and the occasional jogger in Santa hats. I spent it alone. Binging old movies, It's a Wonderful Life for irony, while Jax texted updates. He's got emails to cartels. Laundering through shell core in Panama. Worms live. By dusk, the worm bit. Trent's inbox flooded with auto-sent confessions to the IRS, FBI, even Interpol, detailing the board's fraud. Emily's complicity. His own dirty hands.
Panic hit fast.
His text to me resumed. Frantic. Harper. We need to talk. It's all a mistake. Then. Calls, voicemails pleading. Then threatening. You think you're safe? I know what you did to your sister. Bluff. But chilling. Night fell. And the knock came at 10 p.m., sharp. Insistent. I peered through the peephole. Trent. Disheveled in a wool overcoat. Eyes wild like a cornered wolf. Madison. Open up. I can explain. Heart jackhammering. I cracked the door on the chain. Explain what? How you planned to forge my death into your fortune. He blinked, feigning shock. Your sister, she lied to you. I loved her. But the Harpers. Your poison. Then, the pivot. Help me bury this. And we split it.
20,000 pesos.
Clean. Temptation whispered, easy out. Walk away rich. But his eyes? Empty. Like Emily's in that ore. No deal, I said, slamming the door. But he jammed his foot in, shoving hard. The chain snapped. I stumbled back as he barreled in, reeking of bourbon and desperation. You little, he lunged, hands closing on my throat, the irony a cruel echo. I twisted, knee to his groin, self-defense basics, and he howled, doubling over. Grabbed the lamp, smashed it across his temple. He crumpled, blood trickling from a gash that wasn't fatal, but damn close. I stood over him, chest heaving, the room a wreck mirroring my soul. Controversial? Hell yes, assault on a cornered exec. Self-defense or not, could land me in cuffs. But as sirens wailed distant, neighbors, 911. No doubt, I dragged him to the fire escape, shoving him out into the snow with a final kick. Merry fucking Christmas. Cops arrived minutes later. I played the victim flawless, tearful, pointing to the busted door. He broke in, said he'd kill me over the family mess. They bought it, hauling his ass away in zip ties. The worm's confessions already lighting up federal wires. By New Year's, the empire teetered. Dad stepped down, clean as a whistle, handing reins to a reformer. Emily, indicted on 3 counts, manslaughter, fraud, conspiracy, facing 25 to life. Trent, singing for leniency, ratting out the board like dominoes.
Me?
I cashed the $15,000, leased a studio in Soho, inked my first client that week, a non-profit exposing medical corruption.
Justice.
American style. Messy. Litigious. Triumphant. But the twist lingered. A shadow in the champagne fizz. New Year's Eve glittered like fool's gold over Times Square. The ball dropped a cacophony of cheers and confetti that drowned my doubts for a night. I watched from a rooftop bar. Jack's at my side, drinks flowing. His arms slung casual around my shoulders. The city of fireworks frenzy below. To resets, he toasted, clinking his beer to my Prosecco. The word hung, a nod to my unspoken hell. And for a moment, I let the warmth seep in. No blades. No betrayals, just possibility. Raw and real. But dawn brought the hangover. Literal and otherwise. Dad's call at 7 a.m. Voice clipped. Maddie. Office.
Now.
No pleasantries.
Just that boardroom bark.
I dragged myself to Harper Tower. The lobby a ghost town of potted poinsettias wilting in the post-holiday gloom. His corner suite overlooked the Hudson. All glass and steel. A throne room stripped bare. Files stacked like gravestones. His desk cleared save for one envelope, thicker than the last. Your soul now, he said.
No preamble.
Sliding it across. Full control. But theirs. More. I tore it open, expecting stock certificates, asset lists. Instead, a letter. Mom's handwriting. Faded blue ink on yellowed paper. Dearest John, if you're reading this, I've lost the fight. But no, Emily saw it coming. She swapped my pills that night, thought it'd toughen me up, make me strong like her. Forgive her, she's broken. Maddie knows the truth in her heart. Love always.
Clara.
The world tilted. Mom hadn't OD'd. Emily had dosed her. A tough love experiment gone lethal at 12.
Y de suspecta.
Buried it deep, the way Emily bragged about fixing Mom's weakness, her hands too steady pouring that wine. But proof? This was crucifixion. Dad. You knew. He sank into his chair, deflating like a punctured tire. Suspected. Hired PIs after. But she was a minor, sealed records. I covered. Thought time would heal. His eyes. Wet for the first time. I chose wrong. Every time. The betrayal layered deeper. A family rot spanning decades. Emily wasn't born monster. We'd made her. Dad's favoritism, the fertilizer. And me, the enabler. Silencing my gut for peace. What now? I whispered, the letter crumpling in my fist. Now? You decide. He nodded to the window. The skyline of empire at my feet. Run it straight. Or burn it down. Your call. I walked out numb. The letter burning a hole in my coat. Jax waited downstairs. Sensing the storm. Bad. Worse. Over greasy diner eggs. I spilled, Mom. The swap. The clause that could have saved Emily from herself if I'd pushed. I framed Trent.
Jax.
Planted that worm. What if I'm her now? The liar? He leaned in, eyes steady.
Nah. You fought back.
That's the diff. But doubt gnawed. A controversial crossroads. Expose the whole ugly truth. Dad's complicity. The cover-up and shatter the Harper name? Or bury it deeper? Build something clean from the ashes? The decision came brutal. In the dead of that January night. Emily's trial loomed, arraignment next week, and leaks hit the press. Harper heiress's dark family secrets? Whispers of Mom's death resurfacing. Fueled by Trent's plea deal ramblings. She called from jail. Collect, voice a rasp over the line.
Maddie. Please.
Don't let them drag her through this. It was an accident. I was a kid. Kid. I laughed.
Hollow.
You killed her.
And me.
In that other life. For what? To be Queen of Ruins. Silence. Then a sob, real.
Gut-wrenching.
I hated you. For being soft. Like her. But Dad.
He saw you.
Always. I just wanted. Everything. The line crackled. It's over.
Eminencia.
I hung up. Then did the unthinkable. Emailed the letter to the DA. With a note. Full truth. No deals. Controversial? Cataclysmic. It blew the case wide. Manslaughter bumped to murder. Dad dragged in for obstruction. His empire fracturing under subpoenas. Headlines screamed, Harper Dynasty's deadly lies exposed. Fallout hit like a blizzard. Board fled. Stocks tanked 40%. Dad resigned amid tears at a presser. Gray hairs multiplying overnight. He called once. Proud.
Kid.
Even if it guts us. Emily? Pleaded guilty. 30 life. Her last words in court a broken sorry, aimed at me across the gallery.
Me?
The $41 million? I funneled it, every cent, into a foundation. Harper Redemption. Funding addiction recovery. Medical ethics reform. Scholarships for screw-ups like me. No penthouses. No legacy burnish. Just quiet amends. Jack stuck around. Our thing tentative but real, tattoos and takeout. Rebuilding brick by brick. Spring thawed the snow, cherry blossoms rioting pink along the Hudson. I stood at Mom's grave, unmarked till I fixed that, laying the letter atop the stone. We got her.
Ma.
But it cost everything. Wind whispered back. Or maybe it was peace. Twist's end. Not vengeance's blaze, but reckoning's slow burn. I died once, reborn in blood. Now, I lived in light, flawed, fierce, finally free. America's gift, second chances, paid in full.